Hello and welcome to Astro Mingle, the spiritual podcast that mingles with the talented lightworkers and innovative influencers of our time. One of the coolest parts about modern astrology and the new era that's opening up is how we channel interesting energy about the planets. Once upon a time, the personality, the spoken language, and the archetype was handed down from generation to generation by spoken word. But now, when you meet tonight's guest, you're going to find there's a whole new 5D approach. But before we dive into that, let's take a look from our sponsors. From the creators of 40 Days of Past Lives and Karma and 40 Days of Self-Love comes the class you've been waiting for, an introduction to Step Astrology. That's right, I'm sharing some of my inside secrets on how to read a chart according to Step Astrology and help you interpret the stars, whether it's for yourself or for clients. Keep a lookout for us coming soon. Hello, we're thrilled to welcome back Karen Croney to the show. Many of you remember her from her appearance in February of 2024. Karen, known as the Hair Shaman, is the founder of Hair Intelligence and a pioneering hair growth specialist who brings a special and holistic approach to hair health. Karen's also an astrologer who has a uniquely integrated astrology and intuition into her hair consultations. Karen's journey as a healer and astrologer was profoundly shaped by her Chiron return, which inspired her to develop a unique methodology that unites the transformative powers of astrology, spirituality, and holistic health. Tonight, we're excited to catch up with Karen and hear what's been going on in her business and how her spiritual and astrological journey has been this year. So without further ado, let's welcome Miss Karen Croney to the show. Yay! Step 10 Aquarius. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Aquafabulous there.
Oh, thank you. Happy Leo moon. How's your hair?
We've been working on it all day.
Great.
Seriously.
Looks amazing.
Thank you. I was curious what you thought of it.
It looks so good. I love how you cut it on the sides, and it's beautiful.
Thank you. That's the nicest there is.
Yeah, it's definitely good. It's like it was good, but it got better.
Yeah, it was getting old. I mean, so I needed a hair replacement, a main makeover. That tells you where I've been in this last year. How have you been this last year?
I know. I've noticed.
Like quick.
I've been great, actually. Yeah. Just like business, clients, and growing. Astrology is just on fire right now with all the changes and the shifts with Saturn and now Jupiter and Cancer and just so much. So it's been great. I mean, I've been growing a lot. My clients, it's been great. Mm-hmm. I have so many wonderful clients. I work with hair and with Chiron and just all different astrology, health astrology, and of course my hair consult. So it's been amazing. Just first of all, I just want to say to you is that all the clients that came over to me from the last show, thank you so much. Not only that, they were the best clients. I mean, they were the best. So thank you for that.
Thank you. You heard that, everybody? You're good. Make Sensei proud. Yes. Yeah, they're good. We have a great, and it's true with the people we work with. There's some good vibes going on here. There's some blessings.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, they were all so nice and kind.
Well, you fit right in, so it's perfect.
Oh, thanks. It's wonderful to be back.
Oh, great. And having been a year in being Aquarius, what would you say as a personally, what you've noticed has shifted in you in Aquarius? Because I've seen a lot of changes in Aquarius as we joke about it.
Yeah, I mean, Pluto has really changed the game. I remember before that, it was like, the whole shadow with Aquarius is that, not feeling they belong. Mm-hmm. Well, as soon as Pluto came in, it's like, enough of that crap. It's like, just do what you got to do. Enough of that crap. And just with other people too, I find like a lot of transformation with people because I'm taking less stuff and like, it's just things that people are and they're saying. And I give a lot of grace. Mm-hmm. I really do. I give a lot of grace because I feel like people are going through their own things. And when they say something, they just aren't aware, you know, some friends or just people that you know, and family stuff and all that. So I feel like I just focused on just giving them grace, but I'm a little bit different now since Pluto's been here. I'm more like, I'm not going to take this anymore, and I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to move to the side, and you know, because I always call, and I'm always the one to initiate because I want to give love and all that good stuff. But I'm like, you know, I will shy away from that. Pluto's got me a lot more reined in. It's not as, you know, nervous system-y.
It's surprising, isn't it?
It really
I haven't
is.
felt Pluto in my sign, but I have definitely felt Pluto, and it's very stabilizing.
Yeah,
But
it is. And
yeah,
it like pulls you down because I'm so ethereal with my Aquarius, and I'm like very, you know, I ground with my Virgo moon, but I'm really mostly ethereal by
mm,
nature as
mm.
well. So when it came in, it just went like brought a line just and just like aligned me and grounded me. And it's much easier. You're not flying all over the place. You can really get work done, you know?
Yeah, and I think Aquarius has felt. I'm guessing. Well, I'm seeing Aquarius has become more loving, become more Leo-like. I'm
Yeah,
seeing a lot of Leo coming out of Aquarius. I'm seeing a lot of Aquarius coming out of Leos.
that's definitely the Leo part is definitely. I think we're coming online more. We're showing ourselves more. We're feeling like it's time for that. We're feeling like it's time to show up for the Aquarian age. I
Hmm.
think it's you know, I think it's definitely we're showing up with the. It's interesting when you say the with the loving part, more loving. I think I'm more loving to the ones that I'm connecting and my clients and my really close people that I let really close to me. But I'm less loving and giving grace for the people that, like I said before. So it's interesting. And I do have a Venus in Pisces. So I think that it just makes me really, first of all, loving, but also very understanding. And
Hmm.
Pluto's like, you don't have to be that understanding.
Where
It's
you
like
join the family.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, I think it's because Pluto is making Aquarius feel safe, and so in that safety, their is coming out.
Yeah,
You know, like their
that's true.
ability.
That is true. We're
Yeah.
showing it. I don't feel more loving, but I'm showing it more to
Hmm.
people that I don't like when you're just out and you're just like, you know, it's definitely, I see where he's saying now. Hmm.
Yeah. I guess we're on this topic. We'll say that we've also noticed that Libras and Aries are switching places. That Aries has become much softer now, and Libras are getting tough and, kind of Mary Tyler Mooring it and like, taking their life back.
Yeah,
So
that
in
is
that
interesting.
reversal too. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. I can see that, especially with Chiron there, it humbled down Aries. And
Hmm.
then with Libra, you know, just kind of was in its south node coming back in power. Definitely, I can see that.
Yeah.
I do see it in the people around me too, now that you're saying it. I didn't notice that before, but that's interesting.
It is. I've never witnessed that in my life. I've never witnessed the signs changing like this. Uh,
Yeah, I
all the,
know the signs evolve, but I just don't know they would like change their nature.
Me too. I thought it would just upgrade to the times, not like trade spot.
Yeah.
Like, but
Exactly.
maybe
I knew
Aqua,
it would evolve, but it's like, is it going to change its nature? You know, now Aries is calm and Libra is fiery.
it might be, just Pluto, you know,
Yeah,
so Pluto, shifting those, the Aries, the ascendant, and then, and the heart and the belonging, fifth and 11th and first and seventh kind of flipping. It's interesting to see how that
yeah.
happens. Yeah. So for those who didn't get a chance to see the first time, tell us what it means to be a hair shaman. That's such a cool title.
Well, I didn't give myself that title. Someone else did. One of my clients. She
Mm.
just said it. She was referring me, and she texted us all together and linked the text. And she said, "You have to meet my hair shaman." And I was like, I guess I am a hair shaman now that you think about it, because I've transformed and shamans transform and
Mm.
it links in so many different places. So I was like, all right, I'll take that, you
Mhm.
know. And so I've kind of taken it lightly. I don't want to take away from the real shamans, but I am quite a shaman in the spiritual world too. So I figured it works. Yeah, I love to work with clients, and I I really help them transform their hair. And I think that's why they called me that. Really helping them transform, because when they're at one place with their hair, if it's dry or they're losing hair, I really come in and I help them with the solutions. I have solutions. I'm a solution oriented person. So when I'm meeting with a client, I can not only intuit and feel, because I connect with my clients on that level, I I can also understand what they're doing and then just really give them the solutions, what to do, how to, take care of it and how to feed it. Most people don't know, and I've never heard anyone say this except for me. And most people don't know that your hair needs to be fed on a regular basis
Hmm.
because the hair gets the nutrition last. So if
Oh,
your organ is going through something
mm,
and the organ needs that nourishment, it's not going to give it to the hair. It's going
uh-huh.
to take it because
Yeah.
it needs it. Thank
I-
God, right?
Yeah.
But in that case, we have to make sure we're nourishing the hair. So I always recommend people doing my hair treatment every 2 weeks until you get to that potential, get transformed into that butterfly. And
Mm,
then once you're there, you can maintain that with once a month, but you still need to nourish. That's the thing that people need to know. You still need to nourish. Isn't that interesting?
well, yeah, and especially these times, there's not even nutrition in food.
Exactly.
So,
I barely eat anything. I'm like, okay, this is okay. This is okay.
yeah, even the vegetables are like worn out and tired.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so your approach is to, are you talking to the hair? I'm just wondering, like, there's a mystic in you.
Well, the thing is, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Are you talking to
Yeah.
the hair?
Oh, yeah. I definitely.
There's a
I'm
talk back. Yeah.
always with everything that I do. I'm tuning in. I have this ability to feel everything with my Virgo moon in the eighth. I
Yeah.
just am able to feel everything. So
Hmm.
when I'm talking to a person about astrology, I am feeling and I'm tapped in to their energy. The same thing with hair. So most people think hair is dead, but it's not. It's very much alive. Everything is alive. Everything is energy and it's living. So, I believe that hair intelligence is something that, just like the body has intelligence, you communicate with your cells. Every bit of my cells are vibrating at the proper, you can really affect them. The brain is what dictates the body and the hair. So that's why tell my clients to speak kind to your hair. Don't put stress into your hair. Just really think about what you're saying and how many times you're saying that with anything really, but
Yeah.
with your hair, it really is creating it. Our words create.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Someone want to know about dead ends. A man wants to know about dead ends. You got
Oh, yeah. Okay, so dead ends are different then. So there's dry ends that maybe need a dusting.
split ends. Yeah.
There is split ends. That's a different thing. When
What
it's
is
split
split
ends,
ends? Mhm.
yeah, with split ends, it's normally, okay, this is going to get deep here, but normally what happens is that the combs and the brushes we use, I have certain ones on my site and they're the only ones I've used for 30 years and I offer them to clients because your tools are really like, so combs are made in a mold in the factory,
Mm.
and between each of the teeth there is literally a seam which has a edge. So when you're combing your hair and you're breaking it, that's how the split ends happen, by breakage.
Mm.
Combs with rubber, remember how you're not supposed to put the rubber bands in your hair?
No, but I guess
Okay,
girls do.
well, there's a thing that you don't put rubber bands in your hair because it'll break the hair.
Girls used to do it
And
all the
there's
time.
all these rubber brushes out there on the base of them. Also, the little balls at the end of those brushes, the vent
Yes.
brushes, they actually pull and break.
Mm.
So the idea is to comb when wet, and then you can brush with a natural bristle brush when dry.
Oh, brilliant. I hope
Yeah.
gentleman comes back and shows us his hair. And
Yeah.
how, let's talk.
Anybody can reach out and ask any questions to me, by the way.
All right, we got hair questions, folks. You heard it. We'll see if our
Yeah. If anyone
moderator
wants to
can
ask
feed them for us.
anything. Yeah.
We'll let the moderator feed them.
Yeah.
That said, so how did you come into then astrology? you know,
Yeah.
we see the hair shaman. It was, you were
Yeah.
called in a vision. But
Yeah.
what about this? What about astrology? Like, what got you tuned into astrology? Where'd you trip over it, and where'd you end up falling in love?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's interesting. So for the first 40 years of my life, I was studying, you know, chemistry, biology, earth science, and I was making friends with ingredients and all this stuff, right? So that's how I created there. But then once I turned 45, I was listening to astrology here and there. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I was not listening to astrology. I was a big meditator. So I was meditating one day and I was tuning into the collective. And I'm very good at being able to tune and see where the collective is
Mm.
energetically. So I do that when in meditations, try to help along or whatever. So I was doing that day, and I had music playing in the background. And as it went on, it went to another show automatically, and it was the Leo King, funny enough.
Wow, wow.
And so he came on, and then he started talking. I wasn't so comfortable in my meditation, I didn't get out of it. And I heard him, and he was saying the same thing I was feeling. So I was like, oh, astrology must be real. I didn't know it was real. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but I just never thought that much about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, this stuff must be real. I better look into this. And so I actually got a reading from the Peace Dealer, who I
Okay, yeah.
used to
I know
work with.
these gentlemen. Yeah, I know both these gentlemen. Yeah.
Yeah. And it blew me away. And
Mhm.
I was like, I am sold. And I started studying a little bit, and I just literally fell down the rabbit hole, and there's no way back.
Mhm.
I'm down there in the rabbit hole, and I'm still studying, and I'm still learning, and all of that. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And yeah, that's it. Once you see, you can't unsee.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
once I got into my late in my 50s,
Mm.
after, because I just starting to learn. I listened for a little bit, then I got the reading, and then I like really fell into it. But then I was like, okay, I have to master my chart, you know. So I was just really working on my chart, and then I got into my Chiron return,
Mhm.
and that was like, what the heck is this? And I was even looking at Chiron, and I was like, what is this? Why am I feeling this? And that's when I literally found the answers. And I was studying for a long time, looking up all the mythology, or the
Mhm.
theory about it, the ancient theories.
Mhm.
And I thought it was all interesting, but I was thinking, I'm a solution person. So I'm like, I really want to find the solution to this. And so I was like looking, and nothing was saying exactly how to do it for me. So
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I turned everything off, stopped the research for a month. And I not meditated the whole time, but every day I meditated, and I called out to Chiron, and I said, Chiron, if you can hear me, I want to know where this came from. Why would I bring it into this life? If I came into this life as a potential master, why
Mhm.
would I bring pain into this life? I must have done it for a good reason, to benefit somehow from it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the questions I asked, and I just meditated, and I would get little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and it helped me understand that when we came into this life, we choose exactly everything.
Mhm.
The soul designs your chart exactly when you're supposed to be here.
Mhm.
That's why I'm so big on natal charts, because it's
Mhm.
like right when God told you to come in. And so let me know that you brought this forth as a memory code.
Mhm.
So that way, it's like, it's not here. Everything in your chart is there for you to grow and be with. But Chiron is something that it doesn't go away, but it actually, you wind up transmuting it. And that's what I learned from
Mhm.
this. And I
Mhm.
remember when I was done, I actually said, whoever just gave me this information must govern this area. And
Mhm.
I found out later it was Chariklo.
Oh wow, that's right. His wife. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So,
You like back in the kitchen? Okay, here's how it is, honey.
yeah,
He was
exactly.
yelling at you, yeah, behind his back,
Yeah.
as you know.
So she healed Chiron, but then I was like, okay, I'm going to try, even was still in the meditation. I said, okay, I'm going to try this diligently, Capricorn rising. I
Mm-hmm.
said, if I get this, if this works, I'm going to do it for as many people as I can until it's no longer needed. And
Mm.
I guess I knew that maybe one day it's no longer needed. And that's my prayer, that it's no longer needed.
When you're 450, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Going, hey guys, have you passed that Chiron? But yeah, so all the information that I got was just amazing. And I did practice it. It took me right when I got to my eighth, I remember my 8th month, because for me, Chiron's on my Venus.
Mm.
So it was my heart that would get really hurt.
Fluttered,
And in
yeah.
Pisces, it's the most sensitive sign for wounds.
Mm.
So when I would feel it, I remember feeling like just like, oh my gosh, it was like the worst thing to me. And it was deep in my heart, like I was getting like breaking in half. And
Mm-hmm.
so right when I was practicing, about 6 months later, I felt when it happened again, I felt like I had a shield on my heart. And I was like, that's interesting. I have some room to like react now, where before I was like, gotta go do meditation, do my practice. But then I was like, oh, and so I started seeing something when that happened.
Mm.
The person that was doing it to me or speaking, like yelling kind of at me,
Mm-hmm.
I remember feeling like seeing that, oh, I saw through it. I was right when I was triggered, I had that shield enough to see, oh, that is not that person really doing it. That's their higher self doing it
Mm.
for me, because
Mm-hmm.
I'd already been doing the work. So I kind of knew that already. But
Mm-hmm.
I saw that, oh, their higher self is doing this to me until I transmute it. Because whenever you're emitting energy,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to attract that energy back. And
Yeah.
we came in from the past life into this life emitting our Chiron memory code.
Oh yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
steps just shows that you become it. So I mean,
I have a different theory.
oh really? What is it?
The theory I have is this, and this is what I'm experiencing. So I'm experiencing this, so it's possible.
Sure.
My clients are all working on it. A lot of them have done it. So what happens is every time I'll tell you what happens first before we go into how.
Okay.
Um, so what happens is that when you first of all, that trigger, that feeling that you're feeling is a memory code from another life,
Totally. Mm-hmm.
which means it is not current.
Yeah.
So if you're getting yelled at or whatever's happening that's triggering you, if you remember, oh, that's just a trigger and this is triggering a memory code and it's not current, you remember that and then you don't react. Because when in life, when something happens and then you respond to that something, it creates a third thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just by not responding
Yeah.
and having your self-control, of course, Saturn, that's where it's orbiting between Saturn and Uranus. So Saturn says, take authority over yourself and do it differently, alchemize it.
Mm.
So Uranus. So literally, if you shift it around and then stay in that and change the vibration, it's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit weird because when you're feeling something, your nature is to go, but I feel this and I want to fix it and I want to talk about it and I want to add more to it. So tomorrow the trigger comes up again.
Mm-hmm.
So I teach my clients that you just have to be really, really, you know, still with it and do the practice. And one day you won't see that trigger again. And what
Mm-hmm.
happens is, so now we're seeing the trigger, but the treasure is the thing that shows up when you no longer respond to that old wounding.
Mm.
So instead of that's why they say it's always going to be here.
Mm.
It's because it turns into it shape shifts, and
Mm-hmm.
that's Chiron, into your treasure, which is actually the opposite of what you're feeling. So when I was feeling maybe not appreciated for my heart, what happened now, all of a sudden I'm getting all this love from everybody around me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still like that. And so I haven't had triggers since 2017 when
Mm.
that was when I was,
Your return.
working towards it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that shows up because I think Chiron on the other side of the trigger and the pain is a longing. It's a longing for the opposite of that. Like, oh, I long, like for Geminis, they long for people to hear them and acknowledge them and recognize what they're saying. For
Mm-hmm.
Aries, it's recognize me as an identity, you know, and things like that. So there's so many beautiful experiences that can happen when you transmute this. That's why I'm so passionate about it. And you know what's funny, Christopher?
Mm.
The symbol of Chiron is got the K at the top,
Yeah.
and the Chariklo has the C, which is my initials.
Ah.
And you know what else is funny? When I got done that meditation, I went and I just said, let's see what Wikipedia, says Chiron. And the first thing I read was Chiron, pronounced Karen, my name,
That's crazy.
Karen Chiron.
Yeah. And you've well,
Isn't
I
that?
feel like consonants and sounds are something we always gravitate towards.
Yes.
I'm always like I like the k,
Yeah. Yeah.
create,
Yeah.
and the k, like it's all kinds
Croney.
of sounds.
It's my last name.
Yeah, totally. It seems as though so in my psychic, research with Chiron, it's not a one wound guy. It's like you've done this. The clients have wounded in that same spot for a few lifetimes now. Like
Yes.
it's grown worse. And in the SEP system, 11 again is I become. So it seems like in the beginning, we become the result of our past life wounds. That's the first thing we become. Like whatever the result was of that. In some cases, we couldn't address our past life wound because we were, shot in the head and we had no time to react. And so
Exactly.
there was that repressed energy. But we first become that. And what I noticed was that when I went through my current return and I saw what it removed, I realized I had been worrying about that my entire life.
Yeah.
My entire life.
That's Isn't that beautiful to have released it?
To understand it. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
to
Because when
finally go,
you release
what's wrong
that,
with me? Like,
yeah,
and Chiron was mostly the worry that something was wrong with me, not that there actually was anything wrong with me. That's the other thing. It's like Chiron was the result of being wounded. It was not the wound itself. Like that was
exactly.
also fascinating to me too. That most people's Chiron is that when they were wounded last time, they did a poor job healing themselves. Like they just didn't recover well. It's really that you're wounded in recovery, not wounded in the actual wound.
Exactly.
It's
That's a
interesting.
very good way to put it, Christopher.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah.
how does Mrs. Chariklo come on? I've been running Chariklo since the day you came on the show. It's now
Yeah.
stable to my charts. I
I love
now
Jericho. Me and my clients too.
totally, and I see her, and she's always got her solution makes sense when you apply the step system to her step number. She's always around Chiron, so she's
What's
like,
her step number?
what's that?
What's
My
her step number?
mine for Chariklo?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember now.
Oh, I need to know that.
I'll let you know backstage.
Oh, thank you.
I don't
Thank
have
you.
for some reason I just don't have it memorized. But every time I looked at it, and I go, my Chiron's 18. So
Okay.
yeah, so I can't remember what she was, but we'll find out. I'll tell you. But it was something probably like 7. Something that like
Oh,
compassion or
that makes sense.
a lot of times she's exactly what you need. Like you need
Yeah.
compassion or you need to be chill or some space. Something with 0. Um, so you found out she was talking to you, not Chiron. Have you talked to Chiron? Uh,
You know what? It's funny that I think it was like what I felt when I remember back is that I called to him. He's like,
mhm,
let her go, you know? He
mhm.
just stayed
Or,
back.
or she's like, no, honey, enough pretty girls.
I got it. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really felt him being still, and she was the one. Now, when I reflected back, once I realized it, it came to me, and I was like, oh, of course she was going to give me the tools, because that's what she does. She gives you the tools to heal. So she gave me those tools directly.
Yes, most likely. It's
Yeah,
crazy to think like that, but it's true. Yeah.
it's really true. It is. It's weird to say like, oh, I channeled this stuff, but you know what? People do this and more. So
The veil's getting very thin, and that actually
very.
goes to our next topic or line of topics. Your opinions, from a Chiron perspective on what's going on in society right now. I mean, Chiron itself is at 26 and 27 this month. In the Sun in Cancer, it goes 26, 27 Aries.
Yeah.
Master degree of Aries. So to me, that in Aries, as far as Aries is concerned, once Chiron hits 27, Humpty Dumpty has put back together again for the most part.
Yeah.
As far as the strength of Aries is restored in Cancer, or at least repaired on the mend. So how do you see, this last year when we've been apart, what do you see going on in the global of healing?
When it comes to Chiron, I feel like, well, first of all, I just want to say that you said 18 for Chiron or Chariklo? Oh,
Mine,
Chiron.
Chiron's
You
18
said
for me.
18 degrees,
Hmm.
which is interesting because I do numerology, so I take it to a 9, which is an ending cycle, which
Hmm.
makes a lot of sense because we came here to end that cycle.
Hmm.
We didn't, like you said, finish it in that life. So that makes a lot of sense. Collectively, I feel it's very interesting. It really is wavy now. It goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down, and we're processing a lot. We really went through a doorway back, a couple of months ago. We went into a doorway, and now we're getting used to the new environment and the new energetics. And
Hmm.
I think everybody just like shifted DNA.
Yeah.
Pluto in Aquarius, and Chiron's in Aquarius. Chariklo's in Aquarius too, at 21 degrees retrograde.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I have her at
How
22
how do you see
degrees.
her alone? Does she have her own thing? I
I
mean,
just add her to my chart. I just add her to the chart.
no, I just mean like we know, like how is she alone? So she tells you, how to heal with Chiron. So that's what she's here.
She's
She's.
very paired because she's his wife. They're very much a divine union. So
Hmm.
she's always working with Chiron. She's always working with the wounds.
Hmm.
She's telling people, like, for example, if somebody has Chariklo and Aries, she's saying, get right with your body. That
Mm.
will help. If Chariklo's in Pisces, make sure you detox everything around you because you sense everything. So make sure you're not sensing, and it's like the things around you you can eat. It's like you're eating, right? So you have to be very careful what's around you. And
Hmm.
so with Virgo, it's like, calm down. You don't have to overthink it. If you can't get that solution right away, step back. So it's in every sign. Jericho really gives the tools, and usually the tools, first of all, it depends on the Chiron, right?
Hmm.
But also, when you put those two together to find how she's going to give you that tool. But also, just in the sign, you can, if you look at the shadow sides of each sign,
Hmm.
like for Aries, it would be patience,
Hmm.
'cause it's impatient, so it's like all the things that they need to come out of the shadow, because she's a shaman. Actually,
Hmm.
Chariklo is a shaman.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a shaman too. I just found that out too. And she's also a shapeshifter, which makes sense that I would be shapeshifting this Chiron because she's in my first house, sun in Aquarius, and she's right next to Saturn at 23. She's 22. So
Oh.
it makes sense that I would, align to this and understand it. But yeah, back to collectively, I just feel as though, we are really in a different environment right now. I think we've stepped through the doorway of the Aquarian age, believe it or not. I know some people say it's going to be a lot later, but I think Pluto was a big part of putting us in.
No
And I
question.
think with Chariklo there, she's giving the world the idea that make sure your energy is healed. Focus on the energy, because Aquarius is about vibration and
Hmm.
energy.
Yeah.
You remember that we are a vibrational system, so
Yeah.
we are emitting. So she's saying, utilize your energy to heal. Do not speak that which you do not want to create. Do not walk down the street with your head down. Stand up straight. You know, all these things. Like, your center is creating what you live. And if you want to evolve and transform, you have to lift your center, and you have to it takes time to do that, but you have to focus on something different. And I think we've all starting to get that with Pluto and Aquarius. And, you know, since Chiron's been in Aries for so long, I feel like, honestly, I feel like everybody's body has been off with Aries. I feel like everybody's body's been off. Uranus and Taurus also really worked with our nervous system and our throat and everything, and that's getting ready to leave. So thank God for that. Because I think that was really hard. Was that hard for you?
We'll be right back. No, I'm kidding.
It's my ruler, so I can imagine you're like all stable and everything.
So slapped by a planet, you know. I mean, I had my Chiron return at the same time Uranus conjuncting my sun.
Oh, are you kidding?
Dun,
Only an astrologer would get that aspect.
Come on. Like, I don't know if I was like, oh, I can do it. I'll
Like,
write a book later.
I gotta go in for this, people.
Ooh, man. Yeah, it was intense. I mean, it was a pile up. And my conjunction with Uranus was 90 days, 91 days.
Oh, wow.
Stopped on my sun.
That's a 3 month. That is like a whole change. That is like, because your blood changes every 90 days. Cycles. Oh, yeah. It cycles. Even the body cycles every 90 days.
Yeah.
So if you have something wrong, like you're going through things, just remember, you work on it to 90 days and you can clear it. Even your energetics, if you want to transmute it, if you want to stop being negative or stop, you know, saying the same thing about your hair or say the same thing about your life, then change it.
Yes.
Even if it's not true yet.
Yes. If
the
you
way to do that.
Want to mean your soul knows and your soul feels it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. I mean, Chiron in the high age. So to me, Chiron in the high degrees of Aries has been healing really our Atlantis wound.
Oh, that's interesting.
You want to get really deep because I feel like, you know, I feel like our greatest wound now as a planet is Atlantis, the fall of Maria. When we fear having a world war, when we fear Putin, when we fear Trump, we fear Atlantis. That's what we fear, really, in the background. And we fear famine, we fear loss of Earth. And so as Pluto's gone closer into Atlantis, I have witnessed, to Aquarius, I've witnessed Atlantean people telling me I'm having weird, on an island. It's thinking like, is this legit? And yes, so I think it's been opening up the vibration. So really, the character, what kind of a character would do that? What kind of character am I? Because we were all very high vibration in Atlantis, from what I understand.
Yes.
We were all on top of our game. We didn't earn it. We started there, so we didn't understand what it took to get there. We didn't understand what we would lose. But we were all of high moral character, and we saw things on a high level with God. We were like 5D. And so we went from this character of 5D to caveman, overnight. Lost our power, everything, connection. And I feel like that's the biggest wounds of our character in Aries,
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That's interesting. I definitely feel like I was in Atlantis because I don't get all the way in the water. And I feel like I'm afraid of it. And I one time went in and I got like tumbled and it was like for my life. I felt like it was like pulling me in limb by limb. And that was actually happening. I was flipping around. It was terrible. I was like, I'm never getting in there again. I'll get in like in the Bahamas where the water's calmer, but the waves are, and I feel more comfortable there, which is probably more Lemuria, right? Or Hawaii. More Lemuria.
Pacific would be Lemuria or Mu.
Okay, so this was east.
So this would be Atlantis.
Yeah, exactly. I really felt scared, and I think it was that PSD from the past. Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel that, and I think that right now we're afraid. In our everybody feels this, but they don't realize what it is. It's can come up as anxiety, but you feel afraid that that's going to happen again. So we're trying really hard not to do that again. We're trying to be better people and try to make sure that we're being conscious, and luckily there's so many, think about the last 10 years, there's so many more people that have woken up and just, came online and said, I want to be, a channeler. I want to be light language. I want to do this. And I've been here for a while. I'm 61. So I have never seen so many people, coming online. And I do think it's outweighing all the other stuff.
Yes, I would say yes. And an interesting thing I saw was that Chiron and Pisces generation, who, yeah, most of my client base, but they, when Saturn went through Pisces this last year, it's like their Chiron was delayed. They didn't heal in Chiron return. Like, I don't know what happened in Chiron return, but it didn't dissolve it. It wasn't until Saturn hit those Chiron and Pisces that they finally took their power back from the church and organized religious damage. And I would say the number one damage I see in people is organized religion. The number one. Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah, I remember you saying that, and that is interesting. I don't think that's for me though,
Yeah.
for some reason. I think for me, because I think it can show up like that is true, right? But it can show up a little different. Like I already fixed that in that life. And the wound is more like that I can sense everything. And if I sense something bad, or if I feel so deeply, so things like that in my heart because the Venus is there. But I feel like I lost my train of thought, but I feel like I
We were
lost my
talking
train
about.
of
I was saying
thought.
I've just seen like Chiron and Pisces organized religion
Yeah.
damage.
Oh, yeah. I was saying that, it can show up a little different, slightly different. It can show up like in a bigger way that way, but also the person might not be aware of that. They might feel into a life where they actually felt this deep, like especially Chiron and Pisces, I've experienced, where they feel that there's some people that are like, I noticed some of the clients that came to me from you did have that with the religion and were mad at Jesus and everything. I'd help them through that. But anyway, but some of them show up different. So, because I've done so many of them. And so, like with Pisces, another element can come up, and it can be that they're so sensitive that they want to be behind the scenes and paint. And the thing that heals them is music
Yep.
and painting. And that is the thing that just makes them feel comfortable because they're so sensitive. So that can be like that. It can be like, I'm so sensitive. And I remember where I got hurt or whatever that was sensitively. And now I'm super sensitive when it comes to getting in crowds or something like that. It's usually very
Yeah.
specific.
It's symbolic.
So,
Yeah, totally. Well, a lot of
yeah.
sensitivities, they fail. It's like, so the church wound is that they no longer use compassion on themselves. They're compassionate to everyone else. They forgive everyone. They don't forgive themselves. It's like everything the church took, they don't take back for themselves. Was the Chiron and Pisces people that I met.
Yeah, that's interesting because I remember I have a lot of connections to
Mhm.
Jesus. I've been told that I carry a vibration of Mother Mary. I mean, not Mother Mary,
Oh.
Magdalene. And I do relate to that because I do have some memories, and she is very
Yes.
direct and she has knowledge. And so I'm kind of like that. I'm very
Mhm.
direct. And I think it's no other way to be. And so also, like, I just feel as though, you know, when I came in, I remember feeling this. I remember early on, we'd go to church for like Easter or
Right.
Christmas. And then I would just be like, okay, I'm sitting there. It's fine. And funny enough, my dad had Jesus pictures everywhere. And I used to have a
Yeah.
crush on him when
You're
I
like the
was
second
little.
person.
When I was like 5 or 6, I'd be like, oh,
He's-
he's cute. I was always like I thought I was going to find my twin flame this year. Well, I did, or my divine union, and I will. I'm still single. But anyway, I remember like having a crush on him. But I remember also like going to church with like friends as I got older. I honestly sat there and I felt this feeling, and that might be from the past life that you're talking about. I felt this feeling of like, I looked around, I felt like I felt this feeling. It could have been just the church, but I really feel things. So I felt like everybody was kind of weak and they needed to look up and let somebody guide them. And they didn't have their own authority. And I was probably like
Mhm.
20. And so I was like, I'm never going back there again. But it didn't bother me. It was just like, oh no, I must have remembered no when I got it last life. So I've never worried about it. And I have my own relationship with God, with Jesus. And, you know, I am very tapped into the angels and things like that. And, you know, that's it. I think that's what he would
Oh,
want. I think he would just want you to be that. He probably doesn't even want crosses up in people's
no.
houses. He'd probably just take them down. It represents his crucifixion.
His name is Yeshua. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it says like we're praying
yeah,
like the wrong name. Like, really, it's really.
yeah. I think it's the energy. I think if you just hold the energy, and if you're really down and out, it's good to say, Jesus, take the
Mm-hmm.
wheel and take over and help. I think that's always a good surrender move. And you can do that in many ways, but it's kind of nice to give it up to God sometimes when you're carrying a heavy load. But when it comes to spirituality and growth, you really got to dive a little deeper. And I think astrology, the language of astrology, is the place to go in human design because this is a Uranian
Mm-hmm.
language. And, you know, the future is we're going into the Aquarian age. So it's all about the Uranian language. And yeah, I'm really a big fan of
I know.
astrology and
I love it
design.
too. That's why
Yeah.
we're brother and sister. Are there any
Yeah.
signs or placements where you're seeing Chiron's influence manifesting like more strongly right now? I mean, obviously, other than Aries, like are you seeing Chiron go out of its sign, or do you see those types of things too? Because all signs are affected. I mean, everyone's got Chiron and Aries in their chart somewhere, which
Everybody's Aries house right now is like
mm,
on fire, but in reality, since it has went into the higher degrees, I think it's calmed
yeah,
down. I mean, I think back a couple months ago it was retrograde for like months at like 21, and it is again. Oh
stayed at
no, it
19.
isn't.
It
It
stayed at
isn't retrograde.
19. For,
Yeah, it stayed at 19, and then it went back, and it just like it took so long. 'Cause I have a client that had a 23 degrees, and she's like, I just can't wait for 23 degrees, you know, so she could finally get over it because she was in her return. And now that it's gotten to higher degrees, I feel like people are going, okay, they found the solutions of working out and taking care of their body, eating healthy, so they can say, okay, I can take care of my body. I can fix
yeah.
that. So they started fixing it. Now we're coming out of that. And the next one, when we get into Taurus, it's going to be all about value, finances, all of
Well,
that.
let's talk about that. I mean, you've just teased it. Let's go forward. Taurus is next.
Yeah.
There's a huge generation of Chiron and Taurus. I read them all the
Mhm.
time. They all have self worth issues. They all have fear of money, fear of abundance, self sabotage around money. Black tuxedo kind
Yeah.
of thing. Um, what do you think the first step is for that Chiron generation? Like, what would you say first? Are there steps involved with Chiron? I mean, do you have a process?
Yes, I do. I'll tell you what I think about the Taurus one first, and they'll go into the steps so people can know how to
Perfect.
do it. Um, Chiron and Taurus is all about not feeling valued.
Mm-hmm.
Chiron shows up in it, and the thing about Chiron is it shows up, and you feel that trigger of, especially if it's your natal. It really does make you feel for some reason, even if there's not a reason, for some reason, you are not kind of worthy of people's acknowledgement or their, and you don't know why you feel it because you know you're a good person in your brain. You know, I'm this, I'm that. But when I'm with other people and I'm reflected that, I just feel very unworthy. So the solution for them, the way to work with that, is to realize that you wouldn't be on earth if you weren't
Mm-hmm.
valuable. You would not. So just remember that. It's about let them remember. I think for this work, for people to transmute it and alchemize it, I think it's about
Mm-hmm.
remembering. Because it's kind of hard to remember when you're feeling that wound to go, nope, mm-mm, it's not current. This time I am valued. People recognize me. I am valued. I wouldn't be here. Just monitor yourself up. Yeah, so I think that's kind of the way it shows up. And the thing is about Chiron is if you don't work with it and you don't heal it, that will keep coming up, and then it'll start coming up in the
Mm-hmm.
body,
Yes.
especially in
That is the thing
Taurus.
about that. Let's talk about that. We're going to take a little break. I'll talk about what I think of Taurus and Chiron, and then maybe how it affects our body, because the dead ring, the
Yeah,
final deadline, right? We'll be right
yeah,
back.
yep.
What if marketing could be a spiritual practice? Not pressure, not perfection, just resonance. You're not stuck. You're just trying to channel a soul message through a Canva template or a strategy that is not built for your energy. I'm Lily, your creative freelance BFF. I guide mystics and multi-passionates from not yet to launch using human design and AI soulful systems. This isn't just theory, it's the process I've refined with 40 plus clients and creative collaborators. I'm excited to share more with you at Unite the Light.
Did you know that discordant energies such as illness, trauma, violence, and depression can linger on a property for hundreds of years, going all the way back to the very beginning of that parcel of land? This can also happen with family heirlooms, antiques, or even previously owned furniture. If you've been feeling blocked in life, more ill than usual, or again just uncomfortable in your home, your space could be holding onto residual energies. Refresh My Property can help clear these energies remotely. Scan the QR code to get your free phone consultation today and begin clearing your space and your life.
Hey, welcome back to Astro Mingle. We're here with Croney, who is an expert at hair intelligence and an expert at Chiron, and also his wife. Chariklo. I cannot say them together. I could never have married them and announced them man and bride.
If you just think of chair that
Okay,
you sit
Chariklo,
in,
got it.
Chariklo, like glow,
Chariklo.
Chariklo.
But you introduced me to her. Actually, I've been using her since you introduced me. I've been watching her and her step numbers and how she helps and presents. Just before the break, we were talking about Chiron and Taurus. That's the next generation who's up for their Chiron returns. And next where Chiron and Taurus will be. You know, first of all, I guess it goes without saying that Chiron and Taurus for the country, for the world, is now it's time to heal our economic system. It's time to heal our value system. You know, the United States has Pluto in its second house, the house of Taurus. So the United States is blind at certain boundaries and protections around the accumulation of wealth. It's what we're bad at, you know. Which is interesting,
Yeah.
you know, interesting considering we're such a wealthy country, you know. But that Pluto can turn into a whole bunch of stuff, black market, you know, like hidden revenue. So, and you were saying that for Chiron and Taurus, you find that people have a hard time getting the value they deserve or being treated, you know, with respect that they deserve. And I would say I would agree with that 100%. And I've always felt that it comes down to the way you treat yourself, that generation does not know that they have to love. I mean, step 10 in the step system is Taurus. You have to love yourself and you have to protect that love for a while for it to turn in and mature into value. Like valuing yourself is giving yourself time and space and love time and space with yourself, and nothing else can give you that value, right? I mean, what do you think the core issue is for those self-esteem people? I mean, other than what we
I do think, you know, if their natal Chiron is there specifically, and that return, I think it will be about them healing it and moving forward. I think like even when it comes down to them, you know, doing this work, some of my clients are doing this work and asking for their value, you know, and I went through that myself because my Chiron's in the second house. So, and it does take time when you first start to, you know, you start to get used to what your value is with your work. But yes, valuing yourself every day. You know, I always say to people, whatever you're doing or whatever you're putting in your mouth or whatever you're watching, would it be something that someone that loves their self is doing? If you do that, I mean, I'm step 10 Aquarius. So, of course, you know, and so ask yourself that and really take the time. You know, years ago I used to do mirror work, and it wasn't about looking at myself and my hair and any of that. It was more about just, you know, meditating and looking in my third eye and just kind of losing focus. And what happened is that after a while of just looking, all of a sudden I would see myself clear, and I could see myself through to my
Yeah.
soul. And I saw, oh, I need to align here and I need to align there. So if you take the time to love yourself, just like Christopher said, people, like it will really bleed through the life. And the thing about the finances, I feel like if you go, you know, if you are asking for value, or like for example, for myself, I went into this really big meeting one time. Before I got there, I was like sick in my stomach. because I knew I was going to meet with this whole board of men, like 10 different men, um, to invest in my hair project. And so I was so nervous. And it was part of that was coming up, like, are they going to accept me as an Aquarius? And all these things come up. I wasn't triggered, but I was still like feeling so. And I think that's what Chiron and Taurus feels like. Specifically, they feel, oh no, am I not going to be recognized, or I'm not going to be, my value won't be seen by them. And also, just, once I got in there and I saw this guy that I knew that he was bringing me into the meeting, he smiled and I was like, I'm going to ground into him, right? And it went amazing. So I think you just have to get through that threshold of what you're feeling. I think you have to decide to start moving through and cross that barrier. And when you do that, most people think if I do that and that's what with Chiron, that's there, that must mean that I'm not valuable. No, no, no. That means there's a treasure. Not only are you not valuable, but you're super valuable if you have Chiron and Taurus for this earth.
The Chiron is the one thing you will fix.
Yeah, you will. And once you do, you'll start feeling that value come back. I mean, as soon as I fixed it, when I did my Chiron, because it was all those things together. It was the sensitivities, it was the heart, breaking, or something would not recognize my good heart or whatever. And so, but it was also my value. So for me to get into front of people and say, this is my value, and this is how much money I need to bring it all to fruition. Be able to say how much money I need. If you're going into meetings, things like that, do it anyway, no matter what you feel. But the practice behind the scenes, the steps, I'll say this really quickly, what you asked me earlier, and this is a good way to do that, is that when you feel that trigger and you are feeling, maybe you're going to go on a meeting, there's so many different scenarios, but when you're feeling that trigger about your value or anything else for that matter, the way to work with it is to feel, when you recognize that you feel it, remember.
Feeling of it.
Remember, oh, this is not current. Oh, that's right. This is not current. Because if it was current, it would be already happening.
Yes.
But you're just feeling it. Even sometimes a trigger happens, but it's nothing compared to that. Why would a little thing make your trigger feel that deep? So when you stop and you remember also to take authority over your energy, Chariklo in Aquarius, take authority over your energy and calm down and soothe yourself. And I always like to do mantras here with my right hand on my belly. That's just what Chariklo did. So that's what I'm doing. And it feels really good. You hold yourself and put your palm on your belly and you just say, I acknowledge and I remember that this is not current. This feeling is valid because it has happened to me, but it is not current. The only thing that is current is the actual trigger part, the memory code, as I call it. It's a memory code. And so once you get that, when you get to step 3, that's step 2. So step 1 is take authority over your energies and remember this is not current. And I always say take 3 deep breaths and blow all the air out because you're resetting your nervous system. That helps lessen the feeling. So you can get to, okay, I'm going to do this mantra, You get to the mantra, I acknowledge that this is not current. It's valid, but it's not current. And number 3 is that now I'm going to be my own coach and my own mother and my own healer by saying, I am valuable, even though it might feel hard from going to that yucky feeling to a really good feeling. You will get there. You just have to practice. And once you start saying it long enough, I am valuable. I am here for a reason. I am valuable with what I do, and just exclaim it and command it, then you will be sitting and feeling that. And then you walk into that room with that energy and nobody's going to challenge your value. because they won't feel it from you.
That's a great analysis and anecdote. I feel like people with Chiron in Taurus don't realize they have the capacity to set their price. They don't realize that's their job.
Yeah.
The world doesn't set your price, you do. So there's a confusion there. And so they get on this thing where they start lifetime after lifetime trying to get back on the horse, failing that, feel less worthy, fail that, feel less worthy. But the interesting thing is Chiron, whatever you're afraid of is not what happens. What happens is you're put into the same emotion, and it's not because of the original wound. It's because how you've been responding to the wound since. It's a response healer, really. You're healing, I think, the response to yourself more than you are, because that's what kept the wound open.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Because the feeling is there. The memory code is there. And to remind you, and you're feeling it. And so what happens is, and this is where, Chariklo told me that Mercury was very important, which is funny because it's another Virgo ruled, right? And so she said Mercury is key because what you speak creates. So she said that the way, because if you feel this, that's one vibration. If you respond to it, that's another, and those two alchemize into another creation. So what are you creating with your responses? So you want to respond. I always tell, this is a really great tip. Respond in the opposite of what you're feeling. Just if you're in a pinch and you're out, respond opposite and really feel. You can say the blue dog, but you can be in the opposite energy. So you want to make sure your energy. That's why I always tell people, like, if you're out at lunch or something, just take a step away. Be right back, guys. Hold that thought. Go into the restroom, breathe, take authority. Remember to alchemize this and acknowledge that this is not current. All you have to do is transmute the energy in your heart and in your energy, and you go out and you get into that opposite vibration and then go out there and you'll see what happens. My client, I don't know if I told you guys this last time, but one of my clients, she's fine with me talking about her. She was abandoned in her last life. So in this life, and it was from a partner, a deep love. So in this life, she's with someone, and she's so afraid that he's going to do it. Every minute she's thinking, is he with another girl? Is he, it's like it haunts her. So she started working with me, and we've done a few sessions, and she's worked on this feeling enough to know that when she went out one night with her guy, there was another couple. Well, the guy was there, and then the woman showed up, and she said, Karen, that woman was gorgeous. She was eloquent, and everybody at the table was enthralled by her. And she said, I was shaking because so was my man. And so she said, excuse me, guys. She went to the restroom. She did her breaths. She got back into it. She goes, I'm great to be with. Nobody's going to abandon me. I have me. My guides have me. She just got into that good vibration. She stepped out. She sat back at the table. Her boyfriend turned to her and said, you look gorgeous tonight. I love what you're wearing. He just gave her the energy that she thought he was giving the other person. So it's your vibration. It doesn't matter what you say. It's the vibration that you're in. So if you can get into the vibration of neutralizing it and then get into the opposite vibration of what you're feeling. And there's a way to do homework. And if anybody wants a session, we can go into all the details about this. It's amazing. It goes on and on.
Well, that was my final question. I mean, what's new with Hair Intelligence since your last visit? Products or things you want to tell us about that people get to know you on the hairstyle, and then on
First, I'd just like to say, I'd like to say first a little bit more about Chariklo, because she's so amazing, and I want to feature her. She is so graceful and so compassionate, and she is the wife of Chiron, in case you didn't know, and she's the one that healed Chiron. And she was recognized and discovered in February 15th, 1997. And what was funny, Christopher, is she actually created a 6-point star. she was in Leo at 5 degrees, and Saturn was in Aries at 5 degrees, and like there was a bunch of other stuff. Uranus, Saturn, I have it all written down just to make sure I don't miss anything. Pluto was in Sagittarius, and Chariklo was in
Pluto's in Sag?
Aquarius.
No, Pluto was in
Yeah, Pluto was in
what year? What year?
1987?
87? Oh, 97.
97.
Oh, God. So she was just discovered. I thought I heard 76. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's when Chiron was discovered, 77. So I was like, wow, it was 20 years. He's probably like, please come, my girl, come.
Well,
you
I
know?
mean,
But yeah,
yeah, humans had to
interesting.
discover her for that way. From what I understand, when you discover a planet or an asteroid, what is she? She's an asteroid, right? Or
She's an asteroid. Yeah, she's the largest asteroid.
oh, that's
actually.
right.
And she also has
Yeah,
rings.
oh my goodness.
Of course,
Well,
she
she.
has a
Oh,
ring.
that's interesting.
Chiron.
Yeah, Chiron's weird too because it's like a comet asteroid also. They're
It's
just like
so
going
funny.
zipping through space together on a romantic tour.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to say is that it's really important to heal Chiron. And you can look and pull up, Chariklo, or I can do this for you, and look at both of them and see how to work together with them along with these steps and be consistent with it. So because when you get into your 50s and you're in your Chiron return, if you don't have this information, you don't do the work, it starts to show up in the body. Every sign represents a part of the body. And so it is there. And so then you have to wind up healing the body, which is kind of a bummer. And that's why I believe we get ill as we get older. And a lot of women, you had Dr. Kay Corpus. We're really close. I just adore her. She's healing on the menopause stuff. And that is the stuff that Chariklo works with. And Chiron is there. And that for me, and I'm 61, has been smooth as ice, but not for everyone. And I do think healing your Chiron, transmuting it, and working with it will actually give you a easier, elder life, because you won't be because Chiron it really wants you to transmute it. So it is going to come up one way or another, and it'll come up in the body if you're stubborn, right? Tauruses are stubborn. I think that's why he got laid out. But Chiron's like, I'm gonna transmute this one. Yeah,
Calm me down,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's why it'll come up in the body, and then the body's like, why is my left arm hurting, or and things like that. So you want to transmute this before it comes up into the body.
And I'll say, I believe Chiron is the source of Virgo energy. That's my own belief, and there's a tremendous amount of self judgment. What's that?
I agree.
Perfect.
By the way,
I see nothing else but it. And so as a result, Chiron is where you're most critical of yourself. It's where you're the meanest to yourself at times. That mean side of Virgo can come out of Chiron. Like that, a lot of the source of that self-criticism is Chiron. I was so stupid. I was so stupid. It's a part of me that just keeps saying I was so stupid in that last life, and so now you're afraid of being stupid again, and you're creating more trouble from the fear than you are from reality. Like you don't really have the problem now. The problem's kind of gone this life, but you keep making it happen. It's the one problem you see.
Yeah, and it's funny what you said earlier. Yeah, exactly. It's what you said earlier about is the response is what creates more of it. And even if it doesn't happen right now, it'll come more tomorrow, because I've experienced that it went away. So you want to stop it. And the way you stop it is you heal it. It took me a year, and I was really diligent, but I felt so much better after 6 months. I felt that shield. So you just have to keep transmuting it, transmute it. Be your own shaman, be your own shapeshifter. That's what Chariklo is too. She's a shapeshifter. She's a healer. I mean, she has the tools to heal. And so utilize this information, because I do think it will help everyone so much more, especially in their health and their hormones and menopause and things like that. It is tough for women out there with menopause. I recommend my student. Dr. K is amazing. She was on
she's
here.
Great. I think Charlotte Clo's a hairdresser. I'm starting to think. I'm just saying.
Yeah, maybe.
I think she does hair. Just saying.
And she's in Aquarius right now too, so it makes sense that you would think that, because Aquarius rules the energy of the hair.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it. It's like because hairdressers and bartenders become therapists. It's more like the
Yeah,
unofficial.
yeah, she really does shine through. On my client, I felt her coming through my client, like that she was actually, and she had Chiron conjunct her sun, and so in the first house, I was like, oh yeah, it's really channeling through her as well. And there's so much compassion, and she really holds space for you to
Mm-hmm.
heal. Holds space, and she kind of goes like this while you're doing your thing, and she
Hmm.
helps. It's amazing. She's amazing. I'm in love with her. The feeling of her is just amazing. And yeah, she's an innovator. She's
Well,
brilliant.
I think we can work with her with you, right? We go to
Yes,
hairintelligence.info.
I channel her
Go
too. Yeah,
hairintelligence.info so they can
I
find your
channel.
products. They can also get a consultation on Chariklo and Chiron. And you have a special offer right now that includes 15-minute hair consult plus 20% sale using code SeriesJoy20. That's very generous of you.
Yes, of course,
Thank you for working on
always.
our clients' hair and Chiron.
Oh, it's been so fun. I can't wait to meet more people. Yeah, so Hair Intelligence has been doing really, really well. It's growing. It's just more and more. I mean, doing both of these as an astrologer, because I'm also doing just astrology and
Mm-hmm.
just hair, but then sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
collide because you can look at hair. I always pull up the chart when I'm doing a hair consult, always, because if I'm working with somebody with their hair, I'm always looking for what's going on. What is the
Mm-hmm.
root problem? No pun intended. And so I'm always looking at the chart and I get it intuitively, but that chart sometimes will see something going on in the sixth house or the nervous system is off. So I give them solutions for that too, as well as the products. My products are amazing because there's no company out there that creates styling products that you don't have to wash out.
Mm.
So the silica spray that I have is a soft hold. It gives your hair, hydration. It seals your cuticle layers, but it's a styling spray as well. And the balm is just really beautiful. You just put a little bit on and just put it in your hair, and it really hydrates, and put it on the end for those dead ends that you were talking about on the ends to hydrate. A lot of times you do a treatment and you don't need a trim. You just needed a
Okay.
treatment.
Okay. That's for people
Yeah.
lucky to live in the
So hair
LA
intelligence
area,
is
right? For that,
amazing.
for you to get your hands in their hair. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just love it. I just love it. I love hair. I don't know why. I've always loved
It's a cool
hair.
feature of humans, for sure. It's one of my favorites too. I mean,
When I see somebody, I always look at their hair. Like I've always seen your hair, and you've always had this thing, and it's very important to keep that as
yeah,
As a Leo
thank
rising,
you, because it's why
right?
I'm usually late, is I'm working on my hair. So
I saw that. I was behind the scenes, and also the moon's in Leo right now, so I was wondering how you were
feeling
feeling.
good, and I wish
Yeah.
we could stay longer, but we have to wrap now. We get some people, but thank you, Karen, for coming on. Everyone,
Oh, you're so
thank you so much.
welcome.
Your hair and your wisdom is beautiful. We appreciate it. We'll have to have you on again as things unfold with this changing world. I see how Chiron plays out, and maybe when Chiron's heading for Taurus, be a good time to talk again too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'd be
Lovely.
glad to.
Everyone, reach out to her and work with her. Everyone has been happy who's told me about it, and thank you so much. Have a
You're so
thank,
welcome, Christopher. It's wonderful to
next time
meet
in
you
LA, we'll
again.
hang out.
Oh, we
I'm
got
so
to
close
this
now.
time.
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
no excuses. All right. Well, everyone,
Okay.
it's been a great show of understanding and unfolding. I'll have to tell you that right now. And nothing more soothing than hair and taking care of yourself, because we're in Cancer right now, and Cancer is about self-care. And self-care, you can even hear the hair in the care. So give it a try. It's one of those things. I grew up with a beautician for a mother, so we always had hair that was doing something. And I find it's a good way to nurture yourself. The scalp, too, is full of nerve endings. It just makes you feel so good when you get that massage in your hair. Just talking about cancer and care. We'll see you next week, folks, with some more mingling. Until then, have a great week. We love you. Live, love, be.
Are you a practitioner looking to move your life's work into the spotlight? Do you have that special magic that makes you stand out? Serious Joy is now auditioning for its new Practitioner of the Week segment on Namaste Today. Sensei Christopher is looking to highlight qualified lightworkers with a promo short dedicated to raising awareness about your gifts. Interested? Contact Jenny at intuitive.com to apply for an audition and get ready to shake what your spirit gave you.
Om.